I'm sure you've seen this before. Some of you have seen this before. I don't know where, I think I have spotted this on Instagram, but a lot of you say that you're just going to prefer to wait for a full deck, which is fair enough. And seeing the explanation here, I do realize that there's absolutely no explanation other than key symbols. For example, here, that's the full dandelion, but that's it. Why is dandelion the fool isn't explained here, but I think in the full deck version there will be an explanation. So what I did was I went to the gallery, the website of the gallery. I'm going to just flip through this as I talk. So that's the fool, and then it goes to the magician, etc. So I went to the gallery which stocked his artwork, in particular the original artwork. This was painted on wood, I believe, on wooden surface, and so blocks of wood instead of canvas. And in that website there are some explanation about why each of the plants were chosen to represent the archetypes, but then it sort of stopped short in explaining some of the others, and so there are explanation for some, and then for the others there's absolutely none. So I'll definitely go back to that. I took a screenshot of those. So that's Justice, Hanged Man, Death. I quite like the symbol that he created for himself. That's Temperance. That's the Devil. The Tower. That thing fell. It sort of came loose from its tree and branch. The Star. The Moon. The Sun. Judgment or Awakening or Resurrection, Trumpet, Lilies, and World. And so let us have a look at his explanation. The box is interesting because it looks like this miniature, you know, those packaging that you have from the post office or that you usually throw away, but this has been nicely painted with that. So the back of the cards are I really like it. I really like the art. I'm just not sure how practical this is going to be, especially for large spreads, which is why I picked the majors only, because I'm not quite sure with 78 cards how it feels like a contemplative deck for me, contemplative cards, and so I'm not quite sure how efficient it's going to be as a full deck. So when the time comes, I would like to be quite eager to find out from some of you who no doubt will obtain the full deck. So I'm just reading from the screenshot here. It's the Devil. The artist is Kevin J. Stanton. The Devil represents, so let's have a look at the Devil. It's just what's in front of me first, so let's just start with that. So that's the Devil here. So that's the Devil. The Devil represents seduction and lust, the attraction to the material world and physical pleasures, with the risk of giving into temptation too greatly. Belladonna, or deadly nightshade, was used to dilate women's eyes to give them the appearance of being sexually aroused, but could be fatal if the wrong dosage was administered. So a footnote here says, from Botanica, my series of paintings for an upcoming tarot deck featuring magical herbs and plants. So that's the write-up for his series of 22 paintings. So that's the Devil. Let's move to the Sun. The Sun. The write-up on the website, on the art gallery's website about the Sun says, the Sun. The Sun represents bright optimism and life itself. Goals may be fulfilled and strength may be bestowed. The sunflower is an obvious choice for the Sun card. Not only it is visually representative of the sun, but the phototropism it displays by following the sun's movement across the sky is indicative of a flower whose very nature is inextricably tied to its namesake. So that's the sun. Strength. Strength. Where is strength? I think that's strength there. Strength is the card inner power to face outer challenges and the ability to conquer one's fears. It may represent a person who is a quote-unquote doer, someone with great character and resilience. Ironwood is an extremely hard and durable tree, and it grows well in difficult terrains. So that's strength. The Tower. The Tower is a card of destruction. Pride is the downfall of man. What is built can be toppled, ego shattered by nature. Malusia Fersi is an old world apple. It represents the fall from the Garden of Eden and man's awareness leading to its ruin. Conversely, it can be a card of fear and resistance to change, the knowledge that if you are not careful, your decisions may lead down a path you may not want to venture. The Hierophant. The Hierophant represents the balance between the conscious and unconscious minds, often a symbol of a religious leader. He is the male counterpart to the High Priestess and represents authority and commands respect. Roses have long been a symbol of monarchy, as well as the marriage between power and faith. The Empress. The Empress embodies Mother Nature. It is a card of powerful creativity and fertility and of the magic in the world we live in. The Magnolia is one of Earth's oldest flowers, and as a result of continental drift, it is spread across almost every corner of the world. Its glamorous bloom and sweet fragrance have inspired many cultures for centuries. Temperance. Temperance is balance in all things, and it equalizes the consumption and release of energy. Water irises exist between land and water, which benefits both environments. It prevents erosion and filters the water. The Emperor. The Emperor is a card of power and intelligence, the union of a man made more whole by his partner. John the Conqueror root is used in love potions and amulets of virility and luck, as its root resembles a symbol of masculinity. Okay, that's interesting. So that's the Emperor, and that is John the Conqueror. The Fool. The Fool, like floating seeds of a dandelion, the Fool sets out on their journey full of hope and the promise of new growth. The road meanders but moves ever forward. The World. The World. Yeah, it doesn't say. Okay, the world represents completion, the goal attained. Quince is the original golden apple. It is the beginning and the end of the journey of enlightenment. The the moon. Sorry that this is not quite in order because I took a screenshot of the web page of the gallery in a sort of not successive manner. The moon. From a new series of painting, blah, blah, blah. The moon represents the power of intuition, of subtle strength and dreams. The queen of night blooms from a single night, glowing in the dark deserts and beckoning moths and bats with a heavy perfume. Its power is fleeting, but its pull is immense. So this is the queen of the night. Looks like it blooms in the desert. I know nothing of plants. The lovers. The lovers. The lovers symbolizes emotional decisions and the union between two independent and equal partners. I chose peonies because for their flamboyant blooms that are perfect flowers capable of self-pollination and for the generosity they exhibit in their symbiotic relationship with ants. How fascinating. So he chose peonies because of their flamboyant blooms. And they're the perfect flowers because they're capable of self-pollination. And their generosity exhibit the symbiotic relationship with ants. How wonderful. Death. Death can represent endings as well as renewal, so I chose Pinus contorta, a tree whose seeds cannot be spread without wildfire. So for them to spread their seeds, there has to be wildfire. That is the most dramatic thing I've ever heard of a plant. And just hearing that changed this whole, becomes so much more powerful now, this particular card. Otherwise, all I can see is the end of a year because, you know, it looks like a Christmas tree and the end of the year, the beginning of new and all that. But to think that they can't spread their seeds, they can't procreate without utter destruction in a way, wildfire. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if I understand correctly, but if that's true, that's really quite dramatic. The medicine wheel, I think that's the Wheel of Fortune. That's the one. The medicine wheel. Star anise as the medicine wheel. That's all it says. It doesn't really say anything else. And that is the last of it. And so there's a few others which I have no explanation for because it isn't written anywhere on that art gallery's website, which is currently the agent to sell his original painting associated with this particular Majors Only deck. Creatures of the Moon, a storytelling oracle, which I may have to make a separate video about because it's quite a lot here. So first of all, this box is clearly too small for it, but I heard from the creator that if she were to upgrade the box, you see how the content sticks above the line of the box. If she upgrade the box, it's going to add $20 to the cost of the deck. Can't remember how much this cost because I obtained this from a trade. I've seen this around and I rather like the Laughing Eye, Weeping Eye by the same creator. It feels like a very gentle deck to me, and I am getting the same feeling from this deck. That sense of gentleness, that sense of so first, welcoming, that sense of welcoming, because I'm trying to understand the moon a bit better, and all the moon decks that I've had so far make me feel like they're talking to the choir, like they're talking to the converted. So people are expected to already kind of understand the moon phases, or if they don't, if I don't know what it is, but it just makes me feel like you have to belong, or you have to be on a certain kind of path before these moon decks can speak to you. And this is the only deck that has anything to do with the phases of the moon that doesn't make me feel that way. I don't know what that is. I'll definitely come back with that. But so there is this artwork here, and then of course the back has the moon phases. And the handbook has been kind enough to acknowledge those in the Southern Hemisphere, and note that in the Southern Hemisphere, the waxing and waning of the moon move from the opposite direction. So I think in the Northern Hemisphere they move from the right to the left. I think here in the Southern Hemisphere the moon waxes and wanes from the left to right. So other than that, so basically instead of doing this, all I probably need to do is this, like that. And so that's doable. So there's this there is the name of the stage of it. She sort of partitioned the stages, the face of the moon, waxing moon 9. And then there's a little faint, you blink and you miss it. There's a little, you can see there, that is a representation of the faces of, I don't know what you call it, but the goddess, I'm thinking, you know, the maiden, what is it? Maiden something crown. Maiden mother crown. So that's the mother, that's the crown, that's the maiden, I'm thinking. I don't know. You know what? You know, one of those. So each of these faces are categorized further under one of those three, maiden mother crown. And then each of those then further tied to animals and what they symbolize: equality. For example, the seahorse, waning moon 2. And you flip that around, waning moon 2. That's mother, is it? Full. And there's this. And the cardstock's nice and thick, and it's matte. It's matte, but it glides against each other beautifully. It's smooth and waxy matte, the best kind of matte. The book is substantial, very, very substantial. It has, so the table of content is like so. It goes by the stages of the moon. So waxing moon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First quarter, waxing moon 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then full moon, and then waning moon 1, 2. So in order for you to look through, you basically look at which phase of the moon that is. Look it up here and look at the page, and then you can see the association with the animal. And each of these animals have stories, and there is the creator's story here. So in this book, she's weaving her own story with our story and the stories of these creatures, and then weave it further with the phases of the moon. So it has this comprehensive, look at that here. So that one there, this one here, as you can see, this particular phase is highlighted. That's new moon 1, and then it falls under the waxing, and that's the maiden here. And so waxing moon 1, maiden, story of the squirrel. And then you move here. Waxing moon 2 is the energy of building. Waxing moon 2, maiden, waxing. And then so it starts with the animal, the story of the salamander. Waxing moon 3 is the salamander. And then there is this waxing moon 3. There is this particular phases of the moon associated with the salamander here. And then it's highlighted there so that you know where it sits in the face here. You can see the maiden there. And at the front, you can see how she constructs. There it is. You can see how maiden, mother, crown, new moon, waxing moon 1 to 10, and then waxing moon 11 to full, and then there is 1 to 4, and then waning 5 to 14, and then this is the crone, maiden, mother, and there's this in-between enchantress over here. And so it's very, very systematic. It's very multi-layered. It's very well explained. It explained in a really, really friendly way. Like this one here, what I need to do is like so, because I'm in the other side of the world. So it's I could do a more detailed walkthrough if any of you feel I need to, but that's an overview of it. So I found that there's no one talking about this particular oracle deck. I haven't seen any other video. So that's the Creatures of the Moon, a storytelling oracle. And I think this is a very good excuse for me to try and make a tutorial to make your own boxes, because this is absolutely ripped along all of its seams because it's just too small for the deck and the book. And so those are my animal botanical moon decks that I'm hoping to work with this year. If you would like a more thorough walkthrough of this one, do let me know, and I'll do that sometime either this month or in the next 2 months. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.